This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Djuma Private Game Reserve. Here we're sitting at the Kalahari Dam this morning, but also looking, hopefully it's going to be a beautiful rise from the east, and that's what we're hoping for, the lights, so that we can find all animals we're looking for. So jump aboard to your very own live safari through the African bush. Morning, everybody, greeting from everywhere, and we are sitting here at Djuma Private Game Reserve at the Kalahari Dam this morning, listening to all of the sound, but nothing really that I can hear yet. And my name is Andrew. On camera I have Theo this morning. This is the plan, to come and see if it's anything going to be around in this watering hole. But seems nothing really yet. Extremely cold, I might say. Temperatures of today sitting on 11 degrees Celsius, 52 Fahrenheit. But everybody, we're coming to you live from this area. So you can talk to us using hashtag WildEarth on Twitter, as well as at FC on YouTube channel. Those of under the age of 18 years old can still pop us an email on kidsquestions at wildearth.tv. Always simple way, if you go register on WildEarth website, head over to the live safari page and you can submit your questions. They will take them live for you. So this morning in this area will be myself, Trishal, Djuma, searching around for anything we can find for everybody. Ngala Nick will be on, and then Pridelands Mike will be doing walk. Tswalu Joanne hopefully also show up, so we can also help each other looking for the animals for everybody. That's just stunning. Hyena audio coming from away distances. Just gonna take another listening again. Craig, you're saying you're looking forward for this morning bumble, which we are also looking forward. I mean, just to track all of these cats. If we ever found their tracks, leopard, lions, or maybe hear an audio of them, we are very much interested to investigate the area, have a look around, and find them. So I was hoping to see also if there's a hippos in this dam, but it doesn't look like at the moment. I've been sitting here for a while, I'm not sure, because sometimes I can do that. 5-6 minutes submerged down the water underneath. So everybody, I'm going to move forward, search around for what we're going to find. For everybody bumbling around. So let's quickly take a look at the weather on all our different area.
Good morning, everyone. Look at this beautiful, beautiful view here at Treehouse Dam. Also some mist rising off the dam and a stunning moon. And yes, it is quite cold, as you would have seen in the weather clip. Hi, everyone. It's me, Trishana. I've got Morgan and camera with me. We are pretty much doing the south this morning, not afternoon, and the east. So we're going to look for any tracks of maybe Tlalamba, maybe Moya from yesterday, although she seemed to have moved west from Gari Main and pretty much Shibamu. And Andrew's going to work mostly the west today. So we'll just have a quick look here, see if we can help him out as we make our way to the east. But for now, we are just watching this very, very, very beautiful scene. I also want to take a moment to listen out while we're here, since there is the possibility of activity. We know that Tlalamba has been using this area often, and Moya having been seen here means it's a good place to sit and listen. So we're going to do that for a moment. Grey heron here on the hunt.
Good morning and welcome to andBeyond Ngala, everybody. And look at the stunning scene that we've managed to find this morning. No animals, birds, wildlife in the picture, just a beautiful view of the area where the sun is about to rise from. Oh, there's some birds. Did you see those white wings as they flapped? There's also one with a longer tail. So the first ones that we saw landing in the grass looked like a flock of red-billed buffalo weavers. There, those ones flying there. And then that one that's sitting in the top of that Not sure, looks like a jackalberry. A magpie shrike that we can zoom on over there. Lovely black and white colours. And they're active quite a lot earlier than what we saw yesterday, and it's still quite chilly this morning, so it's interesting to see how active the birds are in this part of the reserve this morning. My name is Nick, and behind camera we got Odie this morning, and our plan was to come to the eastern part of Ngala and have a look around and see if we couldn't find anything this morning. We've had no real wildlife as of yet, but we'll just keep checking and see what we can find. Have a look at the stunning full moon as well, which is about to set this morning. Starting off the morning with a little bit of scenery. Mentioned it a few times before. It's also nice to just be able to turn the vehicle off, especially in the early morning like this. You could pick up on some clues, animals alarm calling, other animals vocalizing that could lead you to potentially find them. This morning we've just got babblers making an absolute racket. Oh, if you listen carefully. There's also two little territorial calls of a blue wildebeest down and to the left of the moon, but it sounds like it might be in that thicket at the back. There's a road that passes through there, so when we are going to head in that direction. We're going to check a little bit further north along this road in the east. Make sure we're not missing out on any fresh tracks or signs of any animals. We've got no specific target this morning, but whatever we come across, whether it's fresh tracks of an animal or whether we come find something, that's our plan for this morning. Just have a bit of a bumble. It is very still this morning, and it is quite beautiful. We've been lucky this morning with it being nice and clear, no cloud cover, no real wind either, and I think it's going to be a good morning in the low fault for Pridelands, us and Djuma. Hopefully there'll be some exciting things. If you have a look there, right at the middle, you can see the colours popping a little bit more prominently, and I think that's where the sun is going to rise, pretty much above that tree right in the middle there. I think we've still got a while until sunrise, I think probably a few minutes. But quite a good spot to be positioning ourselves this morning. Right in the middle there of the trees, you can just see it starting to light up a little bit, so I wonder if that isn't the sun. I'm expecting the sun to rise this morning at a very, very similar time to when the moon sets, because it looked like it was full moon last night. I'll have a close listen. Stunning sounds of a spotted hyena calling in the background. Excuse me. And I think what we're going to do for the time being is just sit tight right in this position and see if we can't watch the sunrise this morning. Look how the colors in the skies are really popping. And while we do that, I'm just going to take a few moments to listen to what's happening around us. Lots of hyena audio coming from a little bit northeast of our position. It sounds like there are a few of them. And they sound excited. So I wonder if it isn't just the greeting after being out and moving about last night, or if there's something interesting. But while the sun rises and we've had a good listen, I think what we'll do from here is just drive a little bit into that area and just go see if we can't find those hyenas. See what's all the fuss about this morning.
A beautiful sunrise over the rocky area just to the east of Ndlovu Dam. What will today bring? I have no idea, but hopefully something exciting. Hi everyone, my name is Mike Anderson, behind the camera is Craig, and this is Eco Training's Pridelands Conservancy, where last night, just through our camp, we had a visitor. You can't see it very, very clearly, but just over there is a track, a nice compact small track of a leopard. Okay, there's the back, the pad, and the toes are just 2, 3, 4 over there. There's another track just there, and another one there, and there, and there. This leopard walked straight past our camp, right towards the rising sun. Now, it looks like there were also hyenas in the area last night, so it could be pretty interesting for us to walk in that direction and see what we can come up with. Hopefully, we'll get a glimpse of this leopard. It looks like a female. It's quite small. In fact, I see Morris on the other side of the dam. I think he's probably having the exact same plan. Morris is just down there. He's probably also following. He's stopped, though. I wonder if he's maybe spotted something. In any case, it's going to be an exciting morning. Hopefully, we'll come up together. Teamwork makes the dream work, right? So hopefully Morris and I, and we and Morris and us, will be able to find something down there towards the rising sun. But in any case, a beautiful morning. It's quiet yet. The hippo's in the dam, not moving at all. In fact, it's put itself deeper in the water than it was yesterday, probably because there's a little chill in the air. I don't know if you can see it from there, Craig. Can you see it? Just about. It's a little chill in the air. I think the hippo's gotten deeper into the water in order to try and keep itself warmer. Well, we are going to send you over, whilst we think about our plan, to Andrew at Djuma. no, you're going to stay with us. I think Andrew's having some technical difficulties, so you're going to stay with us a bit longer. Sorry about that. But let's take a little bit of a wander through here and just see what other tracks and signs. Here's that hyena track I was telling you about. It's not really easy to see, but it's far larger than that leopard track that we had earlier. So there it is there. Some sort of nocturnal creature, a worm or a beetle of some sort, whatever it was moving here. And the hyena stepped on top of that. So that might have been fairly early this morning or late last night. This hyena was going this way, heading in the direction where our leopard was going. It's going to be a really nice day. I think it's going to be a hot day today with this haze on the horizon, creating this lovely orange sunrise. I think it's usually going to make it very hot. Lorna, that's a great question, and we are currently trying to find out exactly how many leopards are moving around Pridelands regularly. I believe we have at least 6 individuals that have been identified as different animals that use this area, but there are probably some transient individuals that we might only see once or twice, and then we never see them again. Pixie Pan's youngsters are now getting old enough to start separating from the mother. The other day, she was spotted with one of her youngsters at Leopard Dam. But Lorna, it seems like those youngsters are starting to separate from their mother. And so usually females might stay close, but the young male will almost certainly disappear out of the area. He will get chased out by any large males that might be resident here. So there's still more hyena tracks here, tracks of a very small animal. This is a civet over here. See, just in here. There's one there and another set there. That's a civet that was moving through the camp. All right, so whilst we check what other animals have been moving around here, we'll try and send you to Andrew again.
So everybody, we got the tallest giraffe feeding in that woody area. And this is where they like to spend most of the time, feeding in this area. They will look, could be more than one. And another one didn't actually come out clearly, so we'll probably do that soon. And definitely we're looking at the male, but looking at this horn, all you see a perch of white on top of them, but also thicker shape of these horn. And there are a browser animal, which they would feed regularly on trees, leaves. And in that case, sometimes they can be so picky, choosing where they have to be in a daily basis, depending on the foliage and all the different species of acacia they need to feed on. So also in communications, they rely on visual communication, which is to see one another often from the way distances. And that's why their ears very paley, sort of whitish. So it looks like a just change the spot to another tree to feed on. But anyway, I'm gonna go search if I found anything else.
Hello everyone, my name is Elmarie and I'm very excited about this drive. My husband Kleinhan bought me this Ticket to Dream for my birthday as a present because he knows I watch WildEarth all the time. I couldn't be more happy. I've never had such a great present in my life before.
If you want to go on safari with a WildEarth guide whilst honing your bush knowledge and of course featuring in one of our shows, then head over to our website.
Okay, my favorite part about WildEarth is the characters, and then of course I love the bush and I love Africa, and just the fact that I can follow every day, that's one of my favorite things.
Sign up to be a WildEarth explorer and you could be making your first ever on-screen appearance.
Being on a live drive on WildEarth is really great because you can actually now smell the bush, see the animals in real life. You have to really make a plan and just do it.
As one of the industry's best and Fugasa Indoors training institutes, NJ Moorfield Guide College produces professional guides of exceptional caliber and gives students from around the world an incredible experience. NJ Moore offers courses to suit all types of interests. The full-length career course results in a Fugasa accredited qualification and the option of a 6-month internship at one of Moore Family Collection's luxury safari lodges. Shorter courses are a great introduction for those considering a career in field guiding or even a life-enriching experience in your gap year. With spaces still available in July, don't miss out on this fantastic opportunity to live your African dream.
My name is Ross and I'm a field guide at andBeyond Phinda Private Game Reserve. I love getting questions from guests on WildEarth because I love sharing and learning information about nature with new people, and it also makes me feel like you're all joining me in real life. If you want to ask a question on WildEarth, then you need to register on our website. Once registered, go to our live safari page and submit your question below our live feed.
So we've checked that area where that hyena audio was coming from. No real luck in the area. We didn't see anything. There was no activity going on around there. So we've decided to move out of that area. We're driving down this road. We've literally just driven up it. So we're not going to pick up on any tracks or signs that we didn't see on the way up, unless something's being really sneaky and crossing just behind us. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to make our way sort of a little bit more central this morning, head to a waterhole known as Clara Dam, go and see if there's maybe some hippos around or something else exciting at the waterhole. It's always a good area to check. Even if it is early in the morning, you never know what you might find around a water. And yeah, it's a little bit crisp now that the sun's come up. Its temperatures have dropped slightly, so we're just trying to stay nice and warm. And those lions that we were having a look for yesterday, one of the rangers has got tracks of them in an area in the sort of central western part. So maybe if they are found, it would be a good option for us a little bit later this morning, or maybe this afternoon even. The road that we're currently on is known as Buffalo Flats, and this whole area is known as Buffalo Flats as well. Not sure where it got the name, but it's quite a cool name, and it's a very beautiful part of the reserve. Nice big open areas, big clearings. Massive flock of red-billed quilias just flew out from almost underneath our car. Good chance we might come across that blue wildebeest that we heard vocalizing a little bit earlier as well. We're now turning back towards that area where we started this morning with the shot of the moon. So maybe we'll be lucky to find him or some impalas. Haven't seen giraffe for a while, so I got a little bit jealous when I heard Andrew had found giraffe first thing this morning. So it could be something in the cards as well. But we'll just have to wait and see. That's the lovely part of these mornings in the bush. You never really know what to expect. It's a flock of those red-billed buffalo weavers we had on earlier as well, all foraging this morning. So this is a new road that we've just turned onto. No one has driven it yet this morning. So there's a good chance we could pick up on some interesting tracks along the road. So we'll drive it a little bit slower and just make sure that we carefully check so that we don't miss anything. Even if we're not going to try and track and find animals from the tracks that we find here, it's always a good idea to just keep a lookout so that if there is another guide on the property who's keen on following up on something like a leopard or lions, and we're deciding not to, then you can always let them know which area it's in and which area they can come to have a look and see if it's going to be worth following. For the time being, it looks like tracks of one elephant bull walking along our left-hand side of the road. So Mindy, it's quite a difficult, it's actually a very simple answer, but the fact that Ngala doesn't have any fences, the animals move on and off the property all the time, barring some of the animals that have really small territories. But I think probably similar to Djuma, definitely similar to Pridelands, I think our most abundant animal is without a doubt the Impala. And just because they have managed to breed so well, but if I had to estimate, I'd say there's probably between 2,000 and 2,500 Impala around Ngala's property. It's incredibly difficult to estimate the numbers, but this is just working off game censuses from some of the private reserves that are north of us. I think one's about 65,000 hectares, and they on average have about 12,000 Impala on their property, and you divide that hectares per animal, and multiply it, I think I worked it out to be about 2,500 Impala that could potentially be on Ngala at any time. Second most abundant animal on the property, I think that's a bit of a tricky one, because it's probably going to be somewhere between zebra, wildebeest, and elephants, I would have to say. But those animals, or at least the elephant and the zebra, will move off and on the property at differing times. Tracks of this elephant bull still heading along the left-hand side of the road. They don't look incredibly fresh. We've got quite a few bird tracks that have walked over it from this morning already, which would have only really got active once it was getting light. So maybe from some stage last night he walked along the road trying to get from A to B while feeding slowly. It's quite nice to be spending a bit of time in the east again. We haven't been into the east for the last two and a half days. All the action's been in the central parts and the west. So it's always nice to just come and have a look around. Beautiful big Sodic sites on either side of the road here. So we're going to keep checking along this road, keep following these elephant tracks. Maybe we come across them in quite a distance and pop past the waterhole known as Clara Dam. But for now, we're going to send you over to Mike at Pridelands, who's on bushwalk.
So the absolute cardinal rule of any wild earth drive or walk is you don't frame up a bird before you're live, because of course they're going to fly away immediately as we got live. They all flew away. There was a whole bunch of birds feeding in a little bit of an open patch over there, a mixture of firefinches and waxbills, probably quelea that are out of breeding season. It was really cool, especially with the backlight. They were flying and hopping, but then as soon as the camera panned to them, they were like, well, camera shy, goodbye. But there's a few other birds up here. In fact, I don't know if you'll be able to see, just hopping around in that tree, there's a bit of a silhouette of a bird in a knobthorn, and I don't know what it is. Of course, today, in my haste, I forgot my binoculars, which is always a disaster, but it looks a bit like never mind, there it goes. It looked a bit like a scimitar bill, gleaning insects from amongst the bark on that knobthorn. Now that it's drying up the bush, you can see it's very dry and there's lots of open patches starting to show. And in these open patches, the grass seeds are now exposed, especially with the wind every now and again scouring the surface like this. It exposes seeds that might have just been a little bit buried by the sand or by animals' movements. And so the birds are busy picking through this kind of stuff and looking for seeds and maybe even insects that are disturbed. As the seed eaters dig for seeds, insects get disturbed. And it's like that's how a bird party starts. So bird parties are usually consisting of many different species of birds. I can hear they're there, they're teasing me, they're taunting me from the distance. I can hear the southern black tit calling. And he's usually the instigator of a bird party. Of course, no, they are not showing. We have this little bit of a joke that we always have, because every time we see a bunch of birds on the road and I say, oh look, there's some birds there. Jan Hendrik happens to take one extra step and then the birds all fly off and I'm like, oh, classic. Anyway, let's keep walking up this road. As you can see, still walking on that same road where we had all those tracks. So there's some bird activity that's been here. You can see all these small tracks here. These are from that very same group of birds that we were trying to frame and show you earlier. So this is a mixture of doves. Where can I see a dove track? So this is a dove here. So this meandering kind of looks like a drunk person walking, meandering up and down the whole place. Then there are these little tram line tracks here. These are from small seed eaters that hop, things like waxbills and firefinches and other small birds. And then there are bigger birds like this one here. So this here is probably a larger dove, something more like a ringneck dove or a Cape turtle dove. That big track over there. Here's a better example. You just come over here. There's a much better example of a large dove walking, kind of waddling along. Lots of interesting tracks here. How do we make sure we don't become a predator's target? I suppose luck more. No. What we do when we walk is we're always listening to the sounds of the bush and following the signs of the bush. And most animals will give us clear warnings. Now, we're not on the normal menu of predators. Lions and leopards don't want to eat us. They want to avoid us because they know that we're powerful ourselves. So should we be walking in an area where, let's say, a leopard is lying up, chances are, as long as it's got an escape route, some place to go, it will run away. If it doesn't have an escape route and it feels a little bit trapped, it will likely growl at us from a distance already, and then we just stop and we make sure we know where the growling is coming from. And as soon as we figure out the growling is coming from there, then we start to just back away from that area. And so long as that leopard or lion or whatever predator it is knows that we are making clear signs that we're not coming closer, we're not trying to make conflict, then they'll usually leave us alone. And probably once they feel we've given them enough space, they'll get up and move away on their own. Remember, nothing in nature wants to fight unless it's over a specific resource like females or land or water or food. And we are not competing with these animals for any of those things. So as long as we give them the space they need, they'll usually leave us alone. Usually. We hope. 99.9% of the time they'll leave us alone. Remember, we're meant to be here as much as... Did you just hear that? I don't know if you heard that. Did you hear that? I don't know what that was. That sounded a lot like a predator fighting with another one. Maybe two hyenas, or maybe a leopard with a hyena. It wasn't so far from where we are. I think if we continue following this road, we might see what that was. What do you reckon? I think maybe we'll get to see if we can avoid being on the menu today. Okay, so we're going to have to move quite quickly to get there. But I love it when there's some signs of the bush that lead us to, hopefully, something exciting. So we'll send you back over to Andrew, but we'll keep you updated.
So we're also on a bamboo here, checking for the tracks. Know that lioness she's been calling out about last night, but her tracks has been all over here and no luck. And then she's not calling anymore. We're not sure whether she got a pride or she just moved away from this area. But yeah, we're on a look around. Cats at night, they move huge distances. Some they would be stationary, those that don't want to move too much. So, gonna carry on, Bumble.
We are just mulling about Cheetah. Just found a little fur. Very old though, it looks like it's blown through. I was actually hoping that we could find Tandy around here, but there are no updates for Cheetah just yet, and some tracks. Never Sometimes what happens is an animal steps on top of its own tracks, like a bird steps on it, like a mongoose track, then a bird steps on it or something like that, and every now and then it turns out to look like a cat track, and you go, ooh, and then you look closely and you see there's not a single track anywhere else, but there's bird tracks and mongoose tracks, and everything working together to fool you. But this road is nice and smooth, with very few tracks in it, so if we do see something, it'll be very obvious, which is always great for tracking. There's some multi-fast moving elephants here. Something has bothered them. It's not us. We are not bothering you. See that stiff tail? There we go. There we go. Hello, boy. You know, when it comes to elephants charging you, it's the times you least expect it, and that's when you've got to be a little bit more firm.
And our attempts at birding continue. Have a look at this beautiful bird in picture. Look at its long tail. You can see that darker color every now and then when it's in the sun. Have a look how that little bit of blue sticks out. It is a Birchall starling, and there's two of them that are busy looking for food in front of us in the grass. And really stunning when they come out into the sun and you get to see their feathers with the iridescence and the sun shining on them. Quite a relatively common bird around this part of the world, but nonetheless a beautiful one to have a look at. We have also made our way to Clara Dam, which we are currently sitting at. It is incredibly still this morning, and you can see the beautiful reflections of the trees in the background. Really nice sounds around us as well. There's a gabar goshawk that's busy calling and flying above us, which is almost impossible to get on camera. But to hear it is quite cool nonetheless. You can see right in the middle at the bottom of the picture as well, just another one popped up. We have got two hippos. One a little bit shyer than the other. You can actually hear them blowing the air out when they get to the surface and rise. I'm sure these two hippos have been foraging throughout the night, trying to feed on as much grass as possible. And then as it was getting light this morning, I'm sure they returned back to the safety of the water. It's getting to the time of year where they're going to have to be moving greater distances every night, because around these watering holes, you can imagine, as all the other water sources around the property dry up, all the animals then have to come and drink at these specific or larger watering holes. And once that is the case, then the animals they don't just come here and drink, they'll feed into the waterhole and then drink and then feed back out. I promised ourselves that we would not put Egyptian geese on, but they are causing a bit of chaos this morning. See the two of them that have been chased off by the other two flying away. But back on the topic of the hippos, this time of year with, as I said, the water only being the bigger watering holes where there is water, the animals feed into the water, drink, and then feed out. So there's a lot less grass for these hippos to feed around or closer to these dams. So the hippos have got to move for greater distances in the evening, which might make them a little bit more tired. These two seem pretty content this morning inside here. It's actually quite crisp still this morning, so I wonder if it isn't a little bit warmer for the hippos inside the water. I don't know if you've ever had a swim in a swimming pool in a freezing cold climate. When you actually get in the pool, it's much warmer than being outside of the pool. Other than that, we wouldn't have expected to have found too many animals coming to drink this early in the morning. But it's always good to check. You never know. The other day we had a young male lion. I'm sure some of you know him as the Birmingham young male, on a kudu carcass here, which I think Marcus actually was able to show some of you. And that's why we came to pop past this waterhole and just have a good look and check if there was nothing around. But just the hippos and our resident Egyptian geese, which are causing chaos as always. They're very territorial around their waterholes. They like to chase away every other bird, especially other Egyptian geese. Oh, hippo chomping a little bit at us. You can see how this hippo is really focused on us since we've arrived. So Charlie, if this waterhole were to dry up, I think the question was how far will hippos travel to find water bodies, if I'm not mistaken. If this waterhole dries up, they've got to walk very, very long distances sometimes. Sometimes they can walk a couple kilometers and they'll find another waterhole somewhere. Other times they can walk and walk and walk and walk. You can imagine in a drought, 2016, 2017, when the Kruger Park and this region of the Lowveld had really poor rains. Sorry, these Egyptian geese are obviously not happy with my commentary this morning. But if they've got to walk really big distances in that drought, for example, and there's just no water, sometimes they'll walk 20 kilometers, 30 kilometers without finding water. And they can survive without water. They don't specifically require water to live inside the water, but you can imagine in those sort of droughts there was no water, and lots of the hippos around this area ended up dying. It was also mainly because of a lack of food and less so water. But I've read that they can feed between 6 and 10 kilometers in a night, sometimes 12 kilometers, just feeding, moving around and coming back to the waterhole. So you can imagine if this dries up and they need to look for another water body, they could end up having to move 30 kilometers. And in those situations where they just can't find water, they'll sometimes go and just sleep underneath large trees on riverbanks, down in small drainage lines where it's a little bit cooler. But nice that we got to spend some time with hippo at the waterhole. Finally, the Egyptian geese have left. So I think what we'll do is just enjoy the peace and quiet for another few moments and then move on. I think it's quite a good idea to just go check that tree where that leopard and her cubs were. One other ranger's been there this morning and he said there was no signs of her. But now that it's a little bit warmer, I think it might be an idea for us to just pop in there and see if we can't pick up on some tracks and signs of her.
Good morning everybody and welcome back to Tswalu Kalahari. We're starting up almost the way we finished yesterday evening, just looking at that gorgeous moonset, and I've been looking at some of the stunning sunrises that you've been getting in the Lowveld this morning, but just from a complete different note, just looking at that hazy moon structure happening where it's busy setting with a bit of a mirage happening there in a far distance this morning. Just very, very beautiful seeing that reddish colors appearing as we still in a bit of a crepuscular time here with dawn and dusk structures happening as this type of light is happening at the moment with the moonlight there, and you can even see the shadow of the earth happening at this particular time. Just very, very beautiful looking at that linings. Yeah, good morning everybody. I'm Johan and I will be your guide this morning in the Kalahari, and behind the camera this morning is Gerrit again, and we will be your team in the Kalahari this morning and bringing the beautiful views of the Kalahari to your, shall I say, TV set this morning. Is very, very beautiful seeing what we are dealing with here. And we started this morning already with that gorgeous moonset, moonset coming through, and beautiful colors coming through as the shadow of the earth is also disappearing there slowly but surely, with the sunrise coming up finally in the Kalahari approaching our horizons, but very, very beautiful. So As we're looking at this gorgeous setting we have come across a beautiful fresh set of tracks from last night of some cheetah in the area. So the main objective for us this morning is to go look for the rockstar meerkat colony, and then also try to scratch around for some cheetah, as we already discovered that there is cheetah in the area also already in this particular time. So a bit of both worlds we're trying to do this morning, but beautiful looking at the morning, starting up this morning with that stunning moonrise and that beautiful colors we're looking at there. I mean, just gorgeous, stunning. Always a treat to start a morning like this with that stunning moonset coming in. Alrighty folks, so we're going to continue going and work our way slowly towards those meerkats, keep on going and see if we can pick up on any cheetah this morning and this beautiful dunes stretching in underneath that moon. But we'll keep you posted.
Across southern and East Africa, the Endangered Wildlife Trust works tirelessly to save species, protect critical habitats, and benefit people. Join the EWT in returning wildlife to the wild. Go to ewt.org.za to find out more and follow our socials to see how you can get involved. Protecting forever, together.
I love being a cam up for WildEarth. The animals coming right up close to you, especially like lions. Sometimes you get nervous, but you have to go with the flow. My favorite animal to film is the elephant because of how big it is. But when it's really up close to you, it's one animal that you would say, I really respect you.
Guys, just watch what's happening. See, watch the elephant, watch the lions. See, the first ones to run are the cubs. Can you see them? They are right here. I'm not sure how scared you were, but I was quite nervous. But absolutely incredible.
Expect the unexpected here on WildEarth daily.
Hello everyone, my name is Trishala and I am a naturalist and safari guide here in Djuma Game Reserve in the Sabi Sands in South Africa. I think that the information that we provide and most importantly the questions that you ask give both you and I a really good idea of what's going on. My friend Fernando here, he's a flat-necked chameleon and I love them. They're just these gems that you manage to find in the bush.
Catch up with the guides daily here on WildEarth.
Hi guys, just very much enjoying the sun warming me up, but there's some very upset elephants all over the place. I see more running up this crest. There's one youngster gave us a hard time up there, I mean relatively hard time. So normally if they approach and then they can see that, you know, you can stand your ground, they'll turn around and go, and this one just wanted to have a go at us. So we did what you should do in that situation, just turn around and go away. Do not hover if the animal is unpredictable. Looks like they went around here. Okay. 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 You can pan if you want, Morgan. Wait. Okay. No. Go on. Now you see what I mean. There's the female with the ear. They were at Twin Dams yesterday. See, that's a difficult kind of situation because you can see that they're in a frenzy. It's not that they're it's not as if they're angry with you. They're just in a frenzy. And you don't know what can happen. So it's an uncontrolled situation, a situation where you that's why they were running in this direction and they reversed into that little road just to make sure that we could easily and safely move forward into the open clearing without, if it did get bad. But if we were on this road and they came out onto this side angry with us and we had to go straight, there's more elephants to get into. So that's what we don't want. We want to be able to have a clear escape route in the event that they become so unpredictable that it's dangerous. Now we need to find out what has spooked them. Either a predator or an elephant bull that they're not too happy about. It's just that this is the second group. I mean, it's probably part of the same herd that we saw, but about like 7 minutes ago we saw the first lot go past us, the one I was telling you about, and now there's this lot doing the same. So I wonder if they're all passing a predator. I'm not seeing tracks though. I think I'm going to go out onto Gari Main and just have a look. If we find a nice big bull, that's probably the reason. Although I can't imagine why it would be a prolonged reason, two different sets of two different portions of the herd running with the same type of urgency. I think I'm going to send you over to Ngala with something while I go and check out the tracks on Gari Main.
So if you remember earlier, I mentioned that there were Gabal goshawks calling, 2 of them, and we drove a little bit further forward. It was just out of picture behind a bush. And look, they're sitting beautifully in the sun. It's the Gabal goshawk. And if you listen carefully, that whistling noise is the call of this bird. Beautiful little bird of prey, and quite a tricky one to frame up because they're usually quite busy little birds and they tend to fly away. This morning I think it's just perched, vocalizing and waiting for it to warm up a little bit before it starts to move around and hunt. Once it does start to hunt, it will mainly be going after birds, a variety, pretty much any bird that it can catch. Apparently up to about a francolin size, which is probably a similar size to that bird. Just to show you what it looks like as well. Yeah, in the book, and this is the Gabal goshawk up on the top left and sort of across the middle of the page. And the one we're looking at is very similar to this one, the normal morphed Gabal goshawk. You can see what the juvenile looks like. And then there's also a melanistic morph that we sometimes see. It's not as common, but it's not incredibly uncommon. And it's quite interesting about the Gabor goshawk in flight. It's one of the easier accipiters to identify. You can see here it's got a broad white rump. And the juvenile also has it. And to be honest, for the first time, I've noticed that the melanistic morph doesn't have that broad white rump. And a bird that you could potentially confuse it with is maybe a lizard buzzard down here, which Dan actually saw in Ngala yesterday for his very first time over there. And you can see it's a little bit different. It's got the darker eye, and then it's got that conspicuous black throat stripe. Also has the broad white rump, but then has another 2 bars of white at the back. Which is quite easy to identify. And then the other one we might confuse it with is a dark chanting goshawk, which is a much bigger bird, not on this page, but much, much bigger. I thought I'd just show you what the different forms of the bird look like, and it's quite nice that we got a chance to see it. And Odie's just going to go back on it, and we'll have one last look. And then I think what we'll do, we've sort of covered everything that's at this waterhole. So yeah, I think we'll just listen to this one calling and see it for a little while and then move on, because it's not doing much, I think, while it's still cool this morning. It would be unbelievable to try and watch him hunt, but I think it would be very, very difficult to get. Although Odie's camera work has been superb this morning, I still think with this bird flying at the speeds that they fly through the vegetation would be quite tricky to get on. So I think from here, sun's now risen, it's nice and warm. I think our plan is going to be to head back to that tree that we had the 3 leopards in. So before we move on, Crazy Cage has asked if birds act territorial, I think, towards us as humans. I haven't had it where birds try and chase humans because of their territorial nature. The only one that I can potentially think of is some of the lapwings, specifically blacksmith lapwing and crowned lapwing. If you walk near their nests, sometimes they will dive bomb you and try to chase you away. But I think these territorial birds, they don't mind people in their areas, they don't mind humans coming into their space, so they won't mind us being in their area too much. But we have seen with those, they're the blacksmith lapwings on camera. So those are the ones that I say will sometimes dive bomb you if you get near their nests. If you ever play golf in Johannesburg or anywhere in South Africa, you will know these birds quite well. And they are rather beautiful. Also often overlooked, similar to something like an impala, probably an impala of the birds, because they're quite common, but they are beautiful with their black and white colorations. And they've got quite an interesting call, like a tit, 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 tit. And I think that's where they got their name from, blacksmith lapwing, almost like a blacksmith hitting away at some steel. But I think we've covered pretty much everything at this waterhole now. There's not much that we haven't touched on. And I think from here, as I said, we'll head towards where that female leopard and those 2 youngsters were yesterday morning. And they were there in the afternoon as well. But as I said, they haven't been seen this morning. One of the rangers did go and check, but I think it was still quite cold. So let's go now that it's warmed up and just go have a look around. We might scratch here and there for some tracks and signs. If we don't find them at their last position, which I'm not expecting because Rule said they weren't there, then we'll go check down towards the Timbavati riverbed, see if we can't find some tracks of them. It's quite a good thing to keep working on these leopards, because we saw our relaxed vehicle struggling a little bit this morning with it being as cold as it is. It will be a good thing to work hard on them, because we saw just in 2 drives how relaxed those youngsters have become with the vehicle. And I think if we don't keep working at them and they disappear for a week or 2 weeks, not disappear, but if we don't find them and don't continuously view them, they might get that shy nature again. But that's our plan. We're going to keep driving and see if we can't head into that area.
So we also Bumble, so we have checked where that lioness had that kill from Taba Ngumi, and then there's nothing, so it's completely done. There are no cats and no evidence of any bones, so it's cleaned. So So it's quite a few tracks of hyena also, all these roads. But we're just hoping to find either cats or any hyenas around here. That all the activities happened last night, but there's still chance. Oh, a young elephant there in the bush somewhere. I gotta have to move forward. Oh, there's one ahead of us. So I've got a herd of elephants, which is great. Theo, let's have a look at these one day. So perfectly. So we've got a breeding herd of elephants, which that one is on top of the mound. It looks like just bigger than all of them, but it's on top of the mound, reaching all of those branches. So we're probably going to watch them a little while. Everybody, so we are busy on these cheetah tracks that has been coming across in this particular area, as we are looking at the area further north of where we've been going to. Tracks have been coming through at the base edges of this hill and coming through in this area, this block just further south of us, and literally just been coming through in this area. So now what we're doing is we're closing off the block, and we're literally just looking at tracks possibly crossing here. The last block where these animals have been in is this area to our left hand side. And so now, first things first, as we do most of the time in the Kalahari, is we got to just check out the tracks and see which blocks they are in, as in just narrowing it down a bit. And so as we get the tracks being closing off in a certain area, then we generally put a tracker on the tracks as we continue closing off the block and so on. But yeah, very, very cool of what's happening here at the moment. We are in huge expectance of these cheetah here, because the thing is, these tracks of these cats are super, super fresh in this particular area. So yeah, we're very, very excited about these tracks that we're busy following. If you see this little copy to our right hand side in front, this is actually a very good spot for them most of the time that they like to go up into. And yeah, it's a good vantage point for them that they make use of most of the time in this area, just scanning and scouting if they are busy hunting, even just for a bit of a patrol, just coming through a certain area, just looking around and checking out things and so on. It's constantly in a formality that they, being cheetah, yes, they are in a coalition looking after each other quite a bit, these two particular males that we're busy following here. But bottom line is, a coalition is most of the time much stronger together in this territory. And so as we are having them coming through this area, making use of that vantage point for scouting and scanning, it most of the time comes through to a point where they generally then, just for safety purposes, scouts and scans are also anything that tries to compete against them, like other cheetahs or even hyenas in this area, could potentially be a potential threat to them. So yeah, that is also the main reason why cheetahs would do these coalitions in the Kalahari, because of this vast expanse of landscape actually coming over in these areas. By the way, my apologies for not talking straight away as you come to me.
we lost a bit of comms there, but yeah, looking at this area, beautiful, even just driving without me talking as we go. Just very, very beautiful. So at the moment, there's a huge amount of porcupine tracks coming through at this particular position, but like I said, that fresh tracks of those cheetahs been crossing into this block on our left hand side, and we're still looking for those tracks coming across. As of yet, we haven't had any tracks crossing, but I'm actually expecting, if they are still continuing further north, maybe they might have turned further northwest. If they are turning off, I would think that they would potentially be crossing in this area that we're driving here. In the meanwhile, while we're busy tracking on this cheetah, we're going to be sending you back over to Pridelands.
So we've done a bit of a roundabout mission to try and see what might have made that sound, and we think we found the culprit, or at least signs of the culprit. So you can see here, it's not a very clear one, but just back here there's a nice clear leopard track, and this looks like a fairly sizable leopard, and it was moving in this direction. Seems like it was maybe following a group of zebra that were moving here. There's also signs of hyenas, roughly the same age, moving around. So there was a lot of stuff going on. And we're sort of coming up with theories that maybe this leopard's trying to hunt and the hyenas are getting close, and so the leopard maybe growled at them or tried to chase it or something. But then we came across this track here, and from here we can't really tell what happened, because that's a leopard track and it almost looks like it tried to run, or so you see this hump of loose earth over here. It could also have just stopped here to have a look, maybe turning over its shoulder, pivoting on its heels. But in any case, a few more tracks. 1, 2, there's one there, there's one there, and then there. And from here, we can't really see more tracks. So we wondered if maybe around here somewhere, leopard might have maybe turned and gone into this bushes here. You see where there's a bit of a game path, or at least an animal walked through there. We haven't heard any more noises, we haven't heard any more sounds, but that's the last sign we have. So we're still on a mission this morning to try and find the source of that noise, but we haven't found it yet. It's always nice to try and piece together what's been happening in the night. And there's been just so much activity here. I'm certain that this leopard must have tried to hunt something, because it's been meandering, been walking straight down a road. It's been literally going down one road, then turning, going down another road. It's not normal behavior for a leopard on a patrol. But anyway, we'll keep you updated. We're going to keep trying to follow these tracks and seeing where they head. In the meantime, we'll send you back to Djuma.
Thanks, Mike. We got these elephants are still with us here. And that one still on top of that mound hasn't gotten down, but it's probably because that trees they're just trying to feed on is probably tasted good. So this is all a breeding herd. It happens sometimes they're mixed up with all the males. But eventually they will be all separated, especially those already been moved from the herd. They already get used to the males. Which they're in a bachelor group. So looking at most various different female there. and it's still a little foggy, misty, and great morning for elephants, for them to stay and feed without worrying about the heat. It's always a good idea. Nick and Nova, you asking if I ever have a close encounter with elephants? No, not yet. A lot of friends of mine have. But, I believe it's still going to happen. When in a field, things happen. I know I try to avoid them. I try to respect them. But that can happen even that you do that. So yeah, I never get charged yet. So I'm going to try to reposition. Hopefully we see more of these elephants on the other side. I'm going to be sending you across to Ngala.
So on our way towards that area where that leopardess and her two youngsters were, we managed to find a small bachelor herd of buffalo bulls. 4 individuals that are moving around here. It is quite a thick area with red bush willows, so it's quite difficult to see all of them for the time being. But if you listen carefully, hear that little ticking sound. It is a couple oxpeckers, and there's actually a red-billed oxpecker sitting on this buffalo's back in the sun beautifully, and he's calling at the moment. There we go. Oh, and another one just landed on him. The other one looks like it might be a juvenile. How's that beautiful little yellow ring around the eye and the red bull? And you can see how as the buffalo went through a bit of a thicket, he chased both those oxpeckers off. Quite determined to stay on him. You can see beautiful horns moving in the front there, either side of his head. And look at the skin of the buffalo and how the fur on the back is starting to slowly fall off his body. So quite an old buffalo here, and there's also one that's a little bit closer. Oh, look at what he's doing now, going straight through the bush, no problem. There's another buffalo bull that might come into picture shortly who's got a really bad injury. Doesn't look like an open wound. I'm actually just going to quickly try to see if we can't roll back a little bit. I hope that this bush buffalo thorn doesn't block our view. There we go. And you can see him coming across, and now watch his body when he moves. He's really struggling. He's got a nice set of horns and a really strong boss on the top as well. You can see he's still feeding, but have a look at that back leg. He's struggling. You can see his hip bone there starting to pop out as well. So I wonder if he hasn't maybe dislocated that back leg. Oh. Never nice to see animals with injuries, but the only fortunate thing is that he's still in quite good condition. So it looks like he's been able to move around and feed. and find water. He's not losing condition as of yet. But if Pride of Lions comes into this area and finds him, it could be the end. Really struggling to keep up with the rest. But nice to see some buffalo bulls around Ngala. We're still struggling for the herds. Haven't really come back. I mentioned the other day in that hail-damaged area, there's a big herd that's moving in amongst that area, crossing out of Ngala into the Timbavati and back in. And that's actually the area where the sub-adults of the Birmingham Pride are, the two white lions and some of the younger ones. So I'm just going to quickly see if we can't sneak forward just to improve our view. I just want to have a look behind us and to the right. There was a buffalo bull on our right-hand side as well. But I don't know where he's gone, so we're going to have to try see if we can get another view of this injured one. And there we can see him. Daniel was asking if we get yellow-billed oxpeckers. I haven't seen any yellow-billed oxpeckers on these specific 4 individual buffalo. But Daniel, without a doubt, you are correct. We do get yellow-billed oxpeckers here. And we're actually seeing them more and more nowadays. So I think they might be breeding quite nicely in the area. This would also be the animal that you would expect to potentially find yellow-billed oxpeckers on. Because they tend to prefer the larger... Hey, there's a yellow-billed oxpecker there. Can you believe it? So I think the one on the has it flown off? No, it's just flown off, but good call, Daniel. There was a yellow-billed oxpecker. That one sitting there is actually still a yellow-billed oxpecker, but it's very tricky through the bush to see it. But well called, and you tend to find them on these larger herbivores, on things like buffaloes, other big herbivores, not so much elephants, but buffaloes, kudus, animals that we're not allowed to mention. Quite nice to see both species. What I noticed interestingly the other day is that we actually had a discussion with one of my guests who is quite a new birder, and he was saying how the yellow-billed he was struggling to identify the difference between the juvenile yellow-billed and the juvenile red-billed. Just bear with me, I'm just going to grab my book. It'll take me a few moments. It's in that little cubby hole. And something that I'd never noticed, which he pointed out to me, is the difference in the eye, which I just saw right now having a look at the yellow-billed oxpeckers. If you remember with the red-billed oxpeckers, I mentioned that they had the little yellow ring around their eye. The eye is still red, but they have the little yellow ring around their eye. And if you look over here, you'll see the red eye on the yellow-billed oxpecker with no yellow around it, and the red bill. And you can see juvenile becomes a little bit tricky because the juveniles are very, very similar. So you need to sort of look for the adults when IDing the juveniles. But yeah, this is the difference. The yellow around the eye is quite prominent on the red-billed oxpecker, and then with the yellow-billed oxpecker, obviously it's got the yellow on the bill, hence the name. But nice to see some buffaloes and nice to see some oxpeckers, and well picked up on the fact that there might be a yellow-billed oxpecker here, Daniel. Super impressive.
The annual Safari Guide of the Year competition aims to create awareness for those men and women who dedicate their lives to tourism and wildlife. This year's event will be held at Marataba, a breathtaking privately managed section of the Marakele National Park in South Africa's Limpopo province. In celebration of this, WildEarth and Marataba Luxury Lodges are offering all explorers a chance to win a 3-night stay at Marataba Safari Lodge for you and a friend. In addition to a spectacular land-based safari, Marataba Luxury Lodges offer an opportunity for guests to cruise peacefully along the Matlabas River, watching the animals as they drink and wallow. The lodge offers you a chance to lie by the pool or enjoy a spa treatment, and one night could be spent sleeping out under the stars in a luxurious treehouse. Sign up to be a WildEarth explorer before the 30th of June, and it could be you heading off on a long-awaited getaway. WildEarth Explorers, it's in your nature. As one of the industry's best and Fagasa indoors training institutes, NJ Moorfield Guide College produces professional guides of exceptional caliber and gives students from around the world an incredible experience. NJ Moore offers courses to suit all types of interests.
The full-length career course results in a FAGASA-accredited qualification and the option of a 6-month internship at one of Mall Family Collection's luxury safari lodges. Shorter courses are a great introduction for those considering a career in field guiding or even a life-enriching experience in your gap year. With spaces still available in July, don't miss out on this fantastic opportunity to live your African dream.
My name is Lauren and I'm currently working in Djuma Private Game Reserve here in South Africa. I love answering your questions during the live safaris. It's my favorite part. It feels like you're on the vehicle with me and I'm able to teach you exactly what you want to know. If you want to ask a question on WildEarth, then you need to register on our website. Once registered, you must go to the live safari page and ask your question below the live feed.
So everybody, we came to the road now just to get a clear look at these we're looking at a young male here who is just stationary, standing still. All you see, one of the rear leg, it's resting. It's so that they spend a lot of hours standing feed, and now it looks like he's just done resting, so he's probably gonna move around a little bit. A young one coming out of the wood. So we're joined by the other vehicles on the side, also enjoying the same animal. Fully grown male, the height, it's about nearly 3 meters. And they would weigh nearly 6 ton, 5.5 ton. That's these males. And the females weigh less. And they had a gestation period of 22 months, which is like almost 2 years. And the at birth calf would probably be about 90 centimeter tall. So it's already, well, it's bigger, can be probably wobble around trying to follow its mum. after about half an hour.
Apologize about the signal at Djuma. Sorry about the little signal difficulties that we are having. Can happen when running these live safaris from the African bush. And as you can see, we are just dropping down into the Timbavati riverbed. We did check that area where those leopards were last seen. There's no sign of them, no sign of the carcass. So it looks like they finished it off and have moved off. I wonder if maybe one of the youngsters didn't try and fiddle with that carcass last night and ended up dropping it out the tree. But our best bet to try and see if we can't find them is to come down into this riverbed and see if we can't pick up on any fresh tracks and signs. Ideally, we would want them to just be lying in the riverbed in the morning sun, but I think that's a very hopeful expectation. It's really important to just slowly check around here. Tracks, it's just a hyena crossing over, so not of too much interest to us. But always stunning to drive in the riverbed once it's warmed up a little bit. This morning at about 6 o'clock, this would be the coldest area on Ngala, so I wouldn't have expected her to have brought the little youngsters down here. But now that it has warmed up, she might have brought them back to drop them off at one of her thicker areas that she's been leaving these two youngsters when she goes out and marks her territory and looks for food. But also now she's been eating that nyala for a good couple days, so she's probably quite full as well. So I don't think she would have moved too far away from that jackalberry tree where we saw her in yesterday morning and where she was yesterday afternoon. So we'll just check slowly along the river bed. Make sure we're having a good look, especially in some of the smaller trees around. We've been seeing these youngsters up in bush willows and little wattles. And there are tracks in the road, but I think it's also hyenas. If we don't pick up on any signs in this area, I think we will move out of the area, but I just want to have a really good look to see if we can't potentially pick up on signs, because it would be ideal to get a good idea on where they've moved to. There are just some civet tracks that I thought might have been the leopard cub tracks, but they are not. But it sounds like the signal is stabilized at Djuma, so we're going to be sending you back there with Andrew.
So everybody, with these elephants, just closer look at this young male over here. So I'm just also so sorry about that little technical issue that was happening back there. So sorry, but we got you back. But he's probably around over 20. And the rest of the herd have moved further away already. It's got a beautiful tail, helps getting rid of the flies from the backside. But on front, you rely on these huge ears they've got. But most of the rest of the body would be poured with sand on the top. That's a way of getting rid of all the flies that follow the animal, such as elephant. And these ears play important roles in cooling off the whole entire body of the animal. And they flap them, especially during that rise of the temperatures of the heat during the day. So during their lifetime, they grow up to about 28 teeth, and that would be able to sustain such an animal like these, their life. So we're probably just I'm gonna leave him. We'll probably bump on the herd in front there, but let's focus on look for something else.
We're still in the riverbed, and we've had a good look, and we came right. We've got some tracks of this female leopard Anno 2 cubs that have crossed over the riverbed in that direction. Over the ranger's tracks who came here really early in the morning and had a good look around. I think she must have been waiting for it to warm up. And we don't really want to walk in this very dense vegetation, considering there are baby leopards there, and if Mom is not happy with us being close to her, she's going to deal with the threat being us, and could not end so well for us. So I think we're not gonna walk in this dense area. We'll give them a bit of a chance. Just gonna keep driving along. There's a little track here that cuts to the western side that's been made, so I'm gonna just jump into this track and see if we can't drive closer to the bank. Just move really slowly along this area for any signs of movement. We saw how dark those little leopard cubs were yesterday. So, I mean, you can imagine them in amongst this darker vegetation. It's going to be unbelievably tricky to spot them unless they decide to poke their heads out or if they're sitting in a tree. But I think they're probably tucked away on this bank on our left-hand side. Nice to know that they've moved across the riverbed, though. Sure, it was exactly that. Mom was just waiting for it to warm up a little bit before she brought them down into the riverbed. And it's still worthwhile just checking to see if she doesn't potentially leave them somewhere and then cross back over. It's more tracks of just hyenas. As true as Bob, there she is. We've spotted her. Straight in front of us on that dead log, Odie. That's unreal. Absolutely incredible. There is a leopard. I'm assuming that it is this female that we were looking for by the fact that we found her tracks and have been following them in the riverbed. And to spot her in front of us like that is super, super exciting. If it is her, we'll obviously have to just go and double check.
Back at my favorite scent marking post. For those of you who were watching a little while back, this is a civet scent mark, an African civet scent mark post. Oh, we're going to send you to Tswalu quickly.
Welcome back, everybody, and as you can see, success is in the building. We have just stumbled across this fantastic scene. We just found these cheetah busy struggling down an oryx. Look at this insane sighting. Just crazy what's happening here at the moment. Just crazy, crazy stuff. Just look at what's happening here. So for all the sensitive viewers, I mean, this is pretty hectic stuff happening at the moment, but you've once again got a live kill, live incident happening. Look at the strangle. So what we're going to do is we're going to just keep quiet completely and just listen to the audio. So guys, I know this is pretty hectic views and everything, but this is once in a lifetime opportunity happening right here in front of us right now. It's two big male cheetahs doing the unbearable at the moment. It is crazy looking at what's happening here. I mean, just to listen to that audio and just to think about what's happening. I mean, this is pretty hectic to see this hunting mechanism of this particular cheetah coalition male. And what's really insane about this particular incident and the situation is literally looking at how they're doing it together, as the one male is trying to hit the neck cords over there, and then looking at the other male going for the throat, trying to suffocate it. And this is a fairly big oryx you're looking at this particular incident, but that cat on the top kid just cannot leave, because if he does, then that oryx could potentially stab them to death. As we've been touching base on that oryx over the last couple of days, it could be potentially killing prey animals trying to hunt on them, so that you can see how it is so important that that cat needs to lean on hunting. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to twist this animal falling down. But once again, I'm going to just keep quiet and just listen to the audio. So just once again for everybody, all the sensitive viewers, what's happening at the moment. This oryx is definitely not gone out yet, but yeah, you can see these two cheetah males are trying their level best. I don't think it's going to last much longer, because what's happening is this cat is busy building the suspense here, trying to go to that throat constantly. You can hear that breathing posture happening there of the cheetah male, like trying to go for it, just trying to fight this animal off. But yeah, you can see both cats just trying to fight this animal down. But what a crazy, crazy cheetah sighting, guys. Can you imagine? We just spoke about it yesterday, talking about this particular structure situation happening. The viewers are wondering if this is the two brothers that we see often. Yes, indeed it is. It's the same cheetah coalition that you've seen quite a bit. And these two massive, magnificent cats, as we've been following them quite a long time, and maintaining the distance is quite good for quite a bit of times, seeing them also from time to time as they stretch a vast territory over this landscape. We've been getting to a point where we've been seeing crazy, insane kills on these cats. But even the other coalitions of 4 to 5 males sometimes bring down animals like this. Now, this is not a full-grown oryx. It's a young animal that is about close to a year of age. As you can see, those horns building quite nicely. But yeah, beautiful looking at this, guys. I mean, it is a harsh view. Once again, for the sensitive viewers, if it's not something you want to see, definitely I would not recommend you watching this at this point. But I mean, this is definitely a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Something like this doesn't come every day. This is just fantastic, and it's bound due to hardcore tracking, and hardcore tracking will lead to this crazy incidents happening from time to time. You just got a mission on those tracks, and you'll get to success in the building. And I must just say, insane camera work from Gerrit there. Just crazy viewing, filming, and screening that insane sighting. Well done, Gerrit. That is insane structure happening there. Just incredible of what we're seeing here. Now you can see that oryx is going. There's not much happening anymore. That oryx is blown its last breath, if I can put it that way. But just incredible to see that last fights happening. You can see they're still trying to strangle it down. They cannot go on to feeding straight away because those cheetah brothers needs to mission it hardcore, trying to just make dead sure that this very, very dangerous animal is down to the count. Because the thing is, if they do leave it too early, it's going to get to the point which they could potentially get to trouble, where this oryx could get up and stab them. But just an incredible, insane sighting we have just seen here right now, guys. That is just crazy. When we got that fresh tracks this morning, starting to follow up, I said to Gerrit, this is, we need to rush. We need to get on these tracks right now, because this is right now when these animals have walked here. And as we started tracking and trailing, and the tracker that was helping us in this block this morning, his name is Simpiwe. As he's been tracking and trailing on these tracks inside the block, he started communicating with us and telling us, guys, we need to get into the block. This animals, I can hear the sound, this is happening right now. And as this sounds was going, he could hear the strangling. We started driving into the block, trying to find the sound that he was trying to dictate to us, trying to say what's happening. And then we suddenly stumbled across the incident as he directed us to the sound. So this is really, really incredible. So thanks to Sipiwe Mandleni, our top range trackers in this team. Just beautiful seeing what we've been having in this particular instance. Horse lover, you are commenting that was incredible. I must say to you that stuff like this doesn't happen every day. This is, in the Kalahari, with such a great amount of cheetah population that we have, if you work hardcore for these animals every single day, and you work hard to try to get to tracks at the right time, and tracking at the right time is extremely important. And this is why we have seen what we've seen this morning, is because of tracking at the exact right time is so dramatically important. I cannot claim it enough. And tracks at the right time is really what's going to lead us to insane stuff in situations like this. You can see now the cheetahs slowly but surely starting to open up, as he just started ripping on the soft bits and ends here. And I just want Gerrit to zoom in on that nose of that cheetah as he was looking at us just now. You can see the design of that nose. Cheetahs by norm needs to get to a position where they need to start opening up and feeding as quick as possible after the sounds of the kill that they've done. Because the thing is, the side nostrils, as the front is closing up while they're busy opening up this thing, and they're busy panting and they've just gone through a massive fight, the sides of the nose is opened up completely so they can breathe at that given point. At the same time, while they are trying to open up, while the front nostrils is closing up. So guys, just incredible looking at that behavior happening at that particular time. So I can assure you, we are going to stick with these cats for most of the morning and just pay attention to this insane sighting as they're going to continue opening up feeding on this animal. In the meanwhile, keep you posted and sending you back over to Ngala.
From a pretty amazing scene at Tswalu to a pretty amazing scene at Ngala, we have managed to find this female leopard, and you can see at the back, have a look at how her tail's moving and look at where that youngster's focus is. Only one of the cubs that we've seen so far, now looking straight back at us. But you can see its focus is definitely on mom's tail. I've not yet seen the other youngster, but I'm sure it's around here somewhere. And they've just moved back to the area. This is one of the areas that she had stashed them when she was still denning early on, when those cubs were still really small and really shy. Often saw her tracks heading in here. So it's quite special that we found her lying on that fallen over dead tree. And as we expected, when it's warmed up, she's come out and now lying in the sun, trying to just soak up some of the morning rays. She must be quite happy with herself after having that nice nyala that she's fed on for a couple of days, probably still quite full. Youngsters also had a bit of a feed, and now they are able to just rest and relax for probably for a day or two. They won't need to worry about food too much. So mom's still alert. She's still taking note of everything going on around her, which she has to do at all times at the moment, having these two little youngsters to look after. You can see how that baby's dropped out of the tree to try and play with mom's tail. It's almost like mom's playing with the young leopard as well, giving it a chance to chase her tail around and try and grab it. It's hugely important for these cubs to practice these techniques of trying to grab and hold on to things, as well as the fact that all these movements and jumping and moving around strengthens their muscles and their bones. But I don't think we're going to go anywhere. I think we're going to sit tight here and see what these leopards get up to and just spend some time with them.
We have another wonderful guest with us, Sergio Real. Sergio is a holder of the Ticket to Dream.
I bought a Ticket to Dream because I love WildEarth. All of the guides have been awesome. We've been watching for years, and it's a favorite part of my day to get to watch the drives. I look forward to seeing lots of leopards.
If you want to go on safari with a WildEarth guide, whilst honing your bush knowledge and of course featuring in one of our shows, then head over to our website.
My favorite part of the drive today was definitely an elephant that paid us a visit and came right to our car.
Sign up to be a WildEarth explorer and you could be making your first ever on-screen appearance.
It's amazing being on a live drive in Djuma. It's just fantastic. The scenery is beautiful and the animals are even better.
The Wildlife and Environment Society of South Africa, WESA, encourages people to care for the earth. Through innovative projects, they aim to reverse the serious issues that we face in the world today. One of these projects is Green Coast, a proudly South African award for sensitive and well-managed coastal sites. This sustainability project protects our national coastlines while providing unemployed youth with a love for their environment and a hope for the future. WESA is a membership and volunteer-supported organisation. Every supporter is helping to change the only Earth we have. Visit our website to see how you can help care for our Earth.
It's a huge privilege to be in these incredible places with these amazing animals. I love filming lions. When they do get up and do something, it's always spectacular. When they are playing, are incredibly fun to watch, especially sub-adults and cubs. I love being in the bush and working in these incredible places with these amazing animals. We want to bring it to you so that you can almost feel like you're right there and be able to experience it and enjoy it the way we are.
We are here at Twin Dams. We made our way all the way around from Chitwa Dam, around Buffelshoek Dam, and now we're down here at Twin Dams again. And we have some nice Impala, a nice bachelor herd that is just drinking some water. They're very comfortable, which is nice. They were actually already drinking by the time we pulled up. They just stopped to look, but they were very, very comfortable, which is nice to see. Their reflections are beautiful. As the hippos seem to have just recently arrived home, because we swung past you in the morning, they were still away. They're looking in better condition. The Impalas in general, I must say. Everyone taking care of themselves, grooming themselves again, coming down for a drink. So I'm sure their condition will be even better in a few weeks. Anyway, let me send you back over to Nick and his spots.
You can see that the female is now sat up. She's repositioned herself. The one youngster that we've seen has now gone into that thick drainage line just down to the left, that dark patch. So we're just waiting to see if they don't come out or if Mum goes in there with them. But so special to have them out in the open like this with beautiful light on them as well. See how that leopardess is looking into that area as well, listening, probably just keeping a good ear out for those youngsters and where they're moving around. Hopefully that other one is here. Pretty positive that it would be here. Interesting to see. Let's see where this female moves. If she just tries to reposition to find another comfortable spot to lie. Maybe she'll even leave the youngsters there and move away from the area that she's left them. But look how elegantly she moves down that dead log. It would be nice if she lies down there. She is really showing off us this morning. Imagine she was in the grass when we drove past. There's no ways we would have spotted her. Incredibly camouflaged as soon as she gets into an area that's a little bit more dense. Still see her face on the camera, but with the naked eye, barely see her. Oh, and one of the cubs has just jumped up on the log behind her as well. So I don't want to turn the vehicle on now. Just until hopefully that second youngster, it looks like the one youngster is going to try and follow her. So we'll just keep nice and quiet here. Oh, and she's going to lie down in the riverbed. What a treat. And there the little cub's coming out to follow her. See how it walks very carefully when it comes out into the open. If she isn't going to give them an opportunity to suckle like we saw yesterday morning as well. No. That's exactly where that little youngster's gone to start suckling. I'm still not going to move, just in case that... I hear everyone's loving seeing this little baby leopard, and Odie and myself are also thoroughly enjoying it. And it's nice with the camera that we can keep a big distance and still get such great visuals of them. Moving around now might cause a bit of chaos with that other youngster coming out, so I just want to give the other cub the best opportunity to potentially come out to mom as well. You can see how she's still looking in that direction. Just spotted the second cub, so it is still alive, which is fantastic news. We'll just wait for it to come out. I'm sure it's going to come towards the mother. Danny was asking, when do leopard cubs become independent? Usually around 2 years old only. Sometimes males a little bit earlier, but usually around 2 years is when they gain independence. So you can imagine it's going to be a very tricky task for this mom for the next year and maybe 9 months to try and look after these cubs, ensure that she's catching enough prey to feed them, keeping them safe. It's just going to be up to them when they get a little bit older and mom leaves them for longer periods of time and they become a little bit more inquisitive. How's that little... Yeah, it's on the log where it was earlier, Odie. So there's the second cub coming out beautifully in the open. Oh, I don't think it can see the mother. So did you see that little... Let's listen and see if we can't hear it. Almost like a little bird chirping. You can see it waited for mom to reply before it decided to come out into the open. It's definitely the shyer of the two, that one. It's going to be interesting to see how it gets down from there. We saw that the mother even had to take a bit of a jump, so let's take a moment to just watch and see how this cub manages to get down from that fallen over tree. Started off quite elegantly and then it just fell into those reeds. And you can see it also heading out into the open for us. Oh, that is too special. Much more exciting when you manage to find these animals as well, rather than someone else finding them and then going to have a look. I was actually discussing with some of the rangers last night how much more we enjoy actually finding, especially something like this leopard with her two cubs, is priceless. So we're going to stick around here for as long as possible. I think some of the rangers might be quite keen to come and have a look. So when they do get a little bit closer, we'll make some space for them. But for now, we're going to send you over to some other spotted cats that are feasting at Tswalu.
Welcome back, everybody. And as you can see, these cats have just started opening up this beautiful oryx carcass here, and as you can see, they slowly but surely prepping this animal as they're ripping the skin and just opening up by the soft ends of the skin itself, opening at the back. And you can see this oryx is completely gone now. One cat is out in a scouting position as this oryx was shouting quite a bit while they were trying to take down this animal, as we've seen previously. And so as you can see, these animals are pretty much in a condition situation here that the other cat been scouting, looking for any hyenas that could have been drawn to this particular structure and area. And so as they're looking at just a bit of a scouting position, the boys will also turn around, and the other one busy feeding. You see there, going back to scouting again. But the other boy, as he's busy opening up the carcass, they're trying to start nibbling and feeding there. they will exchange, and the one busy feeding will then go back to a scouting position. And that is the good thing about the teamwork structure in the coalition of survival also. If there's any potential hyenas approaching this site, as you can see, then they would be alerted and alarmed easily, while the other male, or one specifically male, is on the scout about and looking around and that sort of thing and so on. But yeah, very cool looking at this particular situation. Just beautiful, stunning, fantastic. It's amazing seeing this teamwork of these animals. Treya, you are commenting that it was quite a great scene, quite a scene to see these cheetahs take down this oryx. I couldn't agree more. It's really, I mean, situations like that happens once in a lifetime. I mean, it is really, really incredible seeing stuff like that. I mean, it is quite harsh, and little do people know that most of the time cheetah hunts in a wild, in vast, big, open wilderness environments. You often get the situation where these cheetahs could potentially go through battling stages, and it's not as quick as everybody believes that cats goes into hunting, as opposed to the dogs. That's a long stretched out killing event by the looks of it, but actually dogs kill indirectly much quicker as opposed to your cats. The thing is, there's most of the time in a vast wilderness environment like this, strong strangles and fights that happens with cats, especially dangerous animals and strong animals like this that could potentially be in long fighting motion. But yeah, at the end of the day, it serves for crazy wildlife footage and stuff that you might not have ever seen in your life before. But I must tell you, to be sitting in this arena in a live situation, watching this as myself and Gert were just raving about this situation. I mean, it was just crazy looking at that fight happening at that given point. And just now, the process of the system of how it should be following through and how it's going, it's crazy thinking about it. How these animals just go through opening up now and just quickly start feeding, as we were talking about the nostrils. And the exchange between the brothers would be happening every time, every 10 to 15 minutes or so. You can see the blood starting to appear on the face now as well, as he's reaching that soft meat. And very, very lovely soft meats happening at that particular point where he's going for the bum and soft underbelly region there on that side. Guys, just look at that magnificent eyes as that cat is even scanning every now and again in this direction as the brother is scanning into the other directions and so on. But just so incredible, guys. We're going to try keep on sticking with these animals for a bit longer and see what we can do.
We are still at the dam. We're just watching what comes through. More impalas have on the other side of the dam. There's actually quite a lot around. There's more streaming through on this side. Everyone's coming down for a picnic. It's the families are rejoining, males and females, mixed herds, youngsters of all ages. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Well, I must say on this side it looks like there's just the one male, but there's the other males scattered along of different ages. Maybe they'll amicably meet up, and he won't feel very defensive of his group of females there. So far, so good. Them streaming through like this. There's so many. I hope they all come down and have a drink. Wouldn't that be special? It's starting to really warm up, a very nice, comfortable temperature. And it feels very, very relaxed at the dam. So I hope that the impala feel that way too. just like that first bachelor herd did feel when they came down to have a drink. Hopefully this mixed herd will also feel that way. Oh, it's the sound of an airplane. Natural sounds in the sound of an aeroplane, but the Impala don't seem bothered at all. They're slowly making their way towards the water. I hope they will drink.
So welcome back everybody. As you can see, this other brother's just moved into the scene as well, and he is literally just starting to open up with this brother as well. It's a bit of a team effort happening here as they're trying to rip on two mouths, as it's better than one. And yeah, constantly just working on this carcass, trying to work out these animals, opening up this oryx much faster, much quicker, because the potential chances are still there that these spotted hyenas could be moving into the scene. Yes, so much feeding sounds happening here at the moment. It's almost like there is quite a bit of breathing happening. I don't know if you guys can hear all these sounds, like gurking sounds and all sorts of things happening here all the time. But as they constantly just ripping, and it sounds like there's breathing sounds in amongst the blood. Quite harsh structure happening, but you're crazy looking at the sounds, the audio, and everything coming into conjunction, happening here all at the same time. And then the scene at the same time as well. Just so incredible. But just incredible. I'm just looking at something else again, how these cheetahs succeeded to catching this oryx again, is looking at those solid spots on those beautiful bodies. Is those solid spots is what makes them to get to success so quickly as well. Looking at those solid spots, blending in of the grass blades as a proper splash coloration. And that is what enables them to store quite close to this animal. And there was most probably a big herd of oryx in this area, as this one was part of a big herd, as it's still a young oryx. So yeah, very, very cool to see how these brothers worked together as a strong teamwork structure, trying to get to success, and indeed they did. In the meanwhile, sending you back over to Ngala.
So have a look at the posture of this female leopard. She was lying down, and it looks as if she spotted something on the eastern side of this river bank. See how she's moving really slowly and quite low to the ground. See that full belly as well. It shows how opportunistic these animals are. If an opportunity presents itself, she never passes down. So let's just watch and see where this female leopard goes. We've still got a view of the youngsters on our left, but I think focus now on the female. Have a look how much more camouflage she is as soon as she moves into the shade as well. Whatever she spotted has not yet seen her, so it could be in for something rather exciting here. Every now and then she just stops to have a good listen. You can imagine now she's right at the river at the bank. And once she moves up there, we'll try to see if we can reposition to get another view of her. There comes the patience as well. Look how she's just taken a seat now. She's making use of that bank really nicely. I don't think she can see what she originally spotted. You can see her moving her head from side to side, having a good look around. And once she goes up this bank, I think we will lose visual of her. But we might stick around just to listen and hear if she doesn't come right and catch something. And just like that, she disappears. And as she's disappeared, I've had a look just to our left-hand side, and it looks like the cubs have also disappeared back to the bank. So they've realized that Mom has set off, and I'm sure they picked up on her posture and the way she was moving, and realized that it was time for her to move back. For the youngsters to move back into the safety of the thickets. So I think let's try to see if we can sneak forward and just get another view of this female leopard. So we're going to move really nice and slowly along here. I'm just keeping a good lookout on the left for the youngsters. There is still one in the riverbed. But as soon as Mom's not here, they're very shy. So they are scuttling and scurrying back towards the safety of the cover. And you can see this area on the right, the area where that leopardess went inside, is very, very thick. So unless we hear her catch something, or unless we see her come back down, we'll move out of the area. We don't want to be spending time with those youngsters when the mother isn't here, because then essentially their protection is no longer here. And you never know, if something like a hyena moves past, it might come and investigate the vehicle out of interest. Maybe it's learned that when the vehicles have stopped, quite often they're looking at something, so they might just come into the area to investigate. I think where she went inside was somewhere around here. Get to this shady patch in front so that we can have a good look inside these thickets, and then I think what we'll do is we'll just sit tight and listen, because if she does catch something, or if those prey species pick up on her, they will let us know through an alarm call. I wonder what it was that she spotted, whether it was something like a bushbuck or maybe another Ngala. So we're going to stick around here for a little bit and see if she doesn't pop out. If she doesn't pop out in the next sort of 5 to 10 minutes, I think we'll move on and maybe come back this afternoon and search again and see if we can't find where she's gone.
Hi everybody, I'm Tiana, I'm from Johannesburg, and I am one of WildEarth's biggest fans.
Been watching for 4 years, DG here from the Ozarks.
It's been 4 years for me, and I'm not leaving anytime soon.
It's given me a time away from the hassles of the city, and it's given me a connection to a place that has stolen my heart, which is Africa.
Last year we lost our son, and now we're just watching WildEarth. Love to all you guys.
You are reminding us of the role that we play in nature conservation, each and every one of us. You have reconnected myself to a dream that I had as a child to get involved in nature conservation, and for that I'm really grateful for as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
My name is Steve, and one of my favorite things at WildEarth is getting questions from you. The type of questions that I really like are those ones that really help us to unpack and understand and really integrate the ecological knowledge and fully appreciate the importance that animals such as these Cape buffalo bring to the ecosystem. If you want to ask a question on WildEarth, you're going to have to register on the website. But once registered, just head on over to the live safari page and enter your question under the live feed.
We have a baby pangolin, a baby pangolin. This is off the charts. This animal is about from your fingertips to your elbow. That's the total length of this animal. This is unreal. This is unreal. This is unreal. This is like now my 4th Christmas in a week. We should do this more often.
Tune into WildEarth every single day. It's in your nature.
Welcome back, everybody, and you can see these cats have been opening up this carcass quite vigorously now. As you can see, this cat on the left-hand side of the carcass, his face is full of fresh blood, and the other boy is now gone over to feeding, while the one that was opening up first, as you can see, his face is blood red. He's now gone over to scanning position again, but as you can see, already panting so much from just vigorously eating. And remember, they still went through a massive fight, so the thing is that they need to keep on going and just obviously catching their breath, but at the same time, as you can see, this cat regulating now through it, where the other one is busy feeding now. But yeah, beautiful, guys, just so stunning to see these animals that have had success. I mean, cheetahs, there's only about 1,000 cheetah left in the wild in South Africa, and that is crazy how endangered this animal is, and it makes my heart feel so great to know that that these animals have been having success once again, and the population is constantly going on forward. So it's really, really, really pretty amazing. I mean, there's so much conservation efforts that's been happening over the last numbers of years of trying to get their numbers up and going in from a conservational point of view all over Africa. But in the bigger picture, yes, their numbers are slowly but surely picking up again in South Africa, but it is still dramatically low, up to around about 1,000 plus minus. So yeah, it's really incredible seeing such a critically endangered species succeeding and doing what they're doing best, being the 3rd top successful killer in Africa. As you can see, they've been having that great success, but being in a coalition and sticking that partnership together, that lifts the successive rate so much higher, so much more. So yeah, really incredibly awesome to have witnessed this situation that we've seen and everything like that. So I think we're going to stick with them for a couple of minutes more, but at the end, most probably this is where we'll most probably say goodbye to them, as we'll say just a bit of a giving space. Hawk, you are wondering if these cheetah brothers could finish this entire carcass. To tell you the truth, in a desert environment like this, and it's not like I'm not telling the truth otherwise, it's most of the time in a situation where it comes through to that position where they do finish most of the carcass. They try to, because in a desert environment, they never know when is the next time when they're going to be succeeding again in finishing or getting another carcass again. You see, cheetahs can hunt literally every day, but it depends on the size of the kill. So if they had this kill, it could stretch a good 2 to 3 days maybe before they kill again. After this, they'll just look for nice water resource. But yeah, they do finish, I want to put it to 80% of this carcass and all the soft meats, because cheetah can't crash through bone material, so they nibble off most of the meat of the bones as far as they can. But yeah, finish about maybe 70 to 80% of this carcass. Tonight there might be some spotties rocking up to this particular scene, or even some brown hyenas that could be coming up here. Jackals for sure, as there's a huge population of black-backed jackals in the Kalahari. But yeah, as I was saying previously, I think we're going to give these boys a bit of space And just from that point of view of just letting them be and letting them feed at a peaceful, restful posture, as we've had a crazy amount of action on the sighting, and just what we have seen here, it is just incredible. So we'll most probably after this scene be popping over into the dunes and see what we find for the rest of the morning, and even just to see if we can maybe come across some bat-eared fox and things like that. But I must tell you, this was the action of the morning. This was the gem situation happening right here. Actually just so peaceful watching a scene like this, and just the breeze of the wind coming through the grasses as we're seeing it on the screen. Just gorgeous, guys. So I think we'll most probably after this scene we'll be saying goodbye to these boys and let them feed at peace, and let them just continue with what they're doing. That was just incredible. Thank you, big brothers. You were incredible. In the meanwhile, we're going to be sending you back over to another gorgeous destination.
Of course, as we come live, it's an airplane that's extremely loud flying over us, but we were enjoying a peaceful moment at the dam with the hippo and some impalas that had come down to drink. We finished our leopard tracking experience, but unfortunately we didn't find that leopard. It seemed like it moved in a big loop around that area. We even found places where tracks were going up and down on the same patch of road, possibly even the same leopard. And now, we were discussing what it could have been, and it might be that this leopard came to this, or that leopard came to this waterhole in order to drink and maybe head back to a carcass somewhere in that area, but we're not 100% sure. There's plenty of food for a leopard in this area. I don't know if you can see it from where you are, Craig, but there's impalas just coming down to the mud wallow at the back there, beyond those dead trees. They were drinking a bit earlier. They seem to be moving along the edge of that mud wallow looking for that green flush of vegetation coming out. Hippo seems very relaxed, although he watches us every now and again. Every now and again he kind of turns his head to look at us, give us a bit of the old side eye. Happy hippo. We also discovered some tracks of buffalo that came right through the camp as well last night. They're not too far. It looks like it was from early this morning maybe, so I doubt they'll go far from water. Buffaloes are fairly water dependent. But they can be mobile. They can move quite long distances to get from one waterhole to the next. Hippo's still deep in the water. I'm sure it's going to come out a bit later. It's pretty chilly. So I think it's going to want to get some hot sun on its back. We often see this hippo going to the shallows a bit later in the morning, sometimes early afternoon, to get as much sunlight to warm up. Jackson, I think it's probably because there's just a lot of activity at these dams. I think it's probably because there's just a ton of elephants that come down here frequently. There's the hippo, of course, other large animals coming in here. And to be honest, there isn't a lot of shelter for a crocodile if it wanted to come out of the water and rest, let's say, underneath a thicket or something like that. So perhaps also, that might be a reason. And there's not a lot of fish. There's not a lot of fish in this waterhole. And so maybe that also has an effect, because crocodiles mostly eat fish. They don't really eat only antelopes like you see sometimes in the videos where you see the catching an impala or something like that. Most of the time crocodiles are just eating fish. So if there's not a lot of fish in a waterhole, they can't sustain themselves slowly over time. They can't rely on that one impala every few months. It's like kind of saying, I'll just win the lottery and then I'll be fine. You still got to work though. Is that a good analogy? Maybe, I don't know. That's probably why. And there wasn't even a hippo in here until fairly recently. I think in the last 2 weeks this hippo's moved in, and surprisingly it's stuck around. It's been in and out of both Leopard Dam and Ndlovu Dam over the last few months, never seeming to decide which one it wanted to stay at, but now seems to have found a home. Definitely adds an element of danger to our evenings around camp. The other day, one of our students just came back and casually said, "Oh, there was a hippo by my tent." Like, what? My eyes like dinner plates. To just remind everyone that the hippo during the day, yes, looks very placid and happy in the water, doesn't really move much, but at night, if you get in its way, it can be a different story altogether. As I was mentioning before, no animals want conflict. Even this hippo, even though it's one of the biggest, most powerful animals around, doesn't want to fight with us. It'll move out of our way if it can, and we should move out of its way if it cannot. But he's got his place, we've got ours, and so I would like to keep it that way.
So we are just also on a bumble, but we've got a beautiful southern yellow-billed hornbilled bird here, which often they just don't stick around, they just fly off. But yeah, we're on bumble, which we haven't even seen cat tracks yet. That lioness, as we heard, she crossed over to the west. That's our Chusa, so she's not in a property anymore. But the Tabangume is probably still around, we just can't find him. The track's not leading out anywhere around. So maybe he's still around. It's always still great to look around. The morning promises, because it's a few hours that it's still cooler and animals a chance they may be still mobile. These cats, as we've seen, also elephants, they were on move. It's going to be the same with the leopards. They're also going to be on move as well. So I'm going to carry on bumble.
I think come into the riverbed. So welcome back everybody, and we've been sitting here quietly for the last sort of 15 minutes and really didn't expect to see anything, and we heard this funny noise coming from just to our right, and Eddie and myself were listening, and then literally as soon as you came back to us we had a view of this female. She's back here on the eastern side of us. It's very thick though, so she has moved into an area that's a little bit more dense. I'm trying to get one of the other Ngala rangers in here as well, so I'm just going to quickly chat to him on the radio to give him an update. Rule, did you copy that?
Yeah, I'm turning around.
Copy, yeah, she's on the bank, so it is quite thick. I don't have a visual of her now, but she was mobile in an easterly direction along the southern bank. I'll keep you updated. So it's quite nice working at a place like andBeyond in Ngala where we all work for the same team. And Ruski tried to find these 3 leopards this morning, and I think it was just a little bit too cold for them to have come out from hiding. And now with him making his way, I just want to make sure that he gets the best possible opportunity of seeing her as well, because we've had such an epic morning with them and the little ones. So we'll just wait to see if she doesn't pop out again. I don't want to move the vehicle around too much. But it looks as if she was unsuccessful on her attempt in the thickets here on the southern bank. So yeah, but what an amazing morning, what an exciting start, and to have just sat here for the last 10 minutes trying to listen, trying to see if potentially we could pick up on any signs or sounds that she might be in the area, to then have her popping out again was quite special. And we'll just see. I might try and move a little bit further forward just to see if we can see exactly where she is. Hopefully we're going to get another view of her. Just bear with me while I slowly creep forward. I'm going to try and edge really nice and slowly and quietly. I mean, she's not worried about the car at all, but it's always good to have the animal's best interests in heart. Stand by here, quickly have a look. Odie, you have a scan there with the camera. I'll have a look with my binoculars, see if we can't spot her. I can't see anything for the time being. She might have lain down just behind that red spike thorn in the long grass. But I think we're in a pretty good position. If she does get up and move, there's a good chance that we'll see where she's going to go. We can see to the right and to the left of the area where we last had visual of her heading into. As soon as we hear that other vehicle starting to approach our area as well, we will start to make our way out, just because it is quite a sensitive area with the 2 youngsters, and I've spoken about it repeatedly, so I won't mention it again. But yeah, we'll stick around and see if maybe she doesn't pop her head out again. But for now, we're going to send you over to Trishale, who's bumbling around Djuma.
That is an apt description of what I'm doing this morning. I am bumbling around Djuma. I was really happy to see that there were many Impala drinking at Twin Dams, but not anymore. So now we've moved off and now we're on Shibama Road. Because if we can't see any animals, at least we should go to some familiar places and see if, for example, in this case, I want to see whether there are leopard tracks, particularly for Kalamba, signifying that she's using this road frequently. But these tracks are not Kalambas that I'm seeing at the moment. At least I don't think so. I think these are Moya's tracks because she was found on this road yesterday almost. It's probably her tracks and they go out of the property. But it's always nice to know which roads are being used because then you position yourself strategically. And remember, I've always talked about how Zoe's is so productive. I see tracks all the time there. Now it's Shibama. Shibama is super productive. Seeing 2 different sets of female leopard tracks. So I have been the last couple of days. One has a slightly more squarish top of palm, and the other one is more rounded. It's a very, very subtle difference, but it's sufficient, and I've seen it sufficiently to pick up the difference. So obviously I don't know which one belongs to which leopard, but I can see that there's two different types of tracks. So Lumber's got a fairly big track for a female. Not nearly as big as a male leopard's track, but still a big track for a female. So those are the things I'm keeping an eye on, even if we don't manage to find many animals. We can still learn. Hello, you guys. There's lots and lots of Impala around, which is very nice. All kind of together. They seem very, very relaxed. That is very good for them. And also what I expect to see, because those leopard tracks are going out of the property at Shibamo. And all round, a quiet morning outside here. Very enjoyable nonetheless. They're even extra relaxed with our vehicle today. I wonder what it is. Like when we drove up at the dam and they were drinking. I was telling you about how they were doing that. It was, they weren't distracted. I mean, they looked up at us and that was it. They didn't run off and think to themselves, or what looks like they're thinking to themselves, oh no, way too risky. Let's go drink somewhere else. Very, very relaxed this morning. Lovely.
The annual Safari Guide of the Year competition aims to create awareness for those men and women who dedicate their lives to tourism and wildlife. This year's event will be held at Marataba, a breathtaking privately managed section of the Marakele National Park in South Africa's Limpopo province. In celebration of this, WildEarth and Marataba Luxury Lodges are offering all explorers a chance to win a 3-night stay at Marataba Safari Lodge for you and a friend. In addition to a spectacular land-based safari, Marataba Luxury Lodges offer an opportunity for guests to cruise peacefully along the Matlabas River, watching the animals as they drink and wallow. The lodge offers you a chance to lie by the pool or enjoy a spa treatment, and one night could be spent sleeping out under the stars in a luxurious treehouse. Sign up to be a WildEarth explorer before the 30th of June, and it could be you heading off on a long-awaited getaway.
WildEarth Explorers. It's in your nature. As one of the industry's best and Fagasa endorsed training institutes, NJ Moorfield Guide College produces professional guides of exceptional caliber and gives students from around the world an incredible experience. NJ Moore offers courses to suit all types of interests. The full-length career course results in a Fagasa accredited qualification and the option of a 6-month internship at one of Moore Family Collection's luxury safari lodges. Shorter courses are a great introduction for those considering a career in field guiding or even a life-enriching experience in your gap year. With spaces still available in July, don't miss out on this fantastic opportunity to live your African dream.
Hi everyone, my name's Daniel Fisher and I'm going to be your guide this afternoon. I'm looking really forward to taking you through and showing you all the beautiful places here at andBeyond in Ngala. If you have any questions, please register on our website. Once registered, go to the live page feed and post your questions underneath the live feed. Join me on my next safari through andBeyond in Ngala on WildEarth. Send me live questions through the WildEarth website and I'll answer them live from the African bush.
Welcome back everybody, and I must say we are still in awe of what's happened this morning in that cheetah sighting. It's just crazy. As we've been driving myself and coming down the road here, we were just talking about how incredibly awesome that was, and we just can't get enough. I mean, we're sitting with broad, massive smiles on our faces here at the moment. It's just crazy, and it just shows you in life, hardcore work always pays off. It's crazy when you look at it like that. It's another beautiful oryx off in a distance that we're seeing out there on that side. It's a bit of a difficult sight there, putting it into the sun. But yeah, anyways, coming back to our cheetah sighting, I mean, that was just really, really incredible stuff that the Kalahari has just been delivering for us again this morning. It is really, really special. One just can't get enough. It's like almost like an energy booster that just happened this morning. It's just really, really special what's been happening out and about in this gorgeous landscape this morning. But yeah, as we're taking a bumble coming down the road here, we're constantly looking for other animals coming through this area. I'm still looking for it. We've been hearing quite a bit of audio of spotted hyena in this area over the last couple of days. And we're also looking for, as we're driving the area surrounding that cheetah kill that happened here this morning, we're driving the outskirts at the moment, just trying to see if we do not come across any potential track of a spotted hyena in this area, possibly making its way in. We have stumbled across quite a bit of jackals, and jackals close to the kill had pulled out of that sighting earlier on, trying to make their way through, but those cats are just in a crazy feeding frenzy there at the moment, just constantly going. But yeah, we're scouting out and about, seeing what else we can see in these dunes as well as we go just on the edges of the first dune tops here. Yeah, just incredible drive this morning in the Kalahari. In the meanwhile, sending it back over to Ngala.
So welcome back everyone. We have moved out of that area where that leopard and her two cubs are. We did see her briefly at the end there, but she's gone into quite a thick area, so we've left one of the other rangers in the area trying to see if they can't get a view of her. But what a fantastic morning here at andBeyond in Ngala. Really, the leopards have been treating us the last few days. And I was just looking around and I was thinking it's been a while since I've seen a riverbed so littered with leopard tracks. It's quite exciting to have her around with the two cubs, and I'm sure she's going to provide us with some really entertaining game viewing over the next, hopefully over the next couple years, if she's able to keep those two cubs alive and nothing terrible happens to them. But we are slowly making our way in the direction of the lodge now. And a quick little thing that I'd like to show you, Odie, if you look up on the mountains here, there's some beautiful aloes. And just because they are flowering and they're quite pretty, we'll have a nice look at them. Can you see them on the bank? There we go. So it is a bit far, but you can see a beautiful aloe which is growing up on this rocky section with some stunning flowers on, that I'm sure is going to be bringing some really special birds in the next couple of days with those flowers starting to open. And you can see how they are tucked right on that bank. And it tends to be the only area that we find aloes around in Ngala is on the river bank, where these rocky sections, where it's almost out of reach of things like elephants and kudu. But thanks everyone for a lovely morning. It's really been enjoyable. We're going to say goodbye to you at andBeyond Ngala, but we're going to send you over to Djuma and Trish to end the drive this morning.
A really fantastic morning at all our locations. Though quiet here in Djuma, I still had a wonderful time. And we have a little steenbok to end us off this morning. Particularly happy looking, at least I think so. All the antelope, all the herbivores, oh no, actually all the antelope look very happy and relaxed this morning. I was going to say all the herbivores, but then I remembered that we had those elephants that were not very happy at all. But the antelope certainly look very glad. Yeah, shake it off. This steenbok's shoulder muscles look particularly pronounced today. Oh, where are you going? Off it goes. Our smallest antelope out here, only about 11 kgs. Females are a little bit larger, but that's about it. As you can see, not much else happening on quarantine here. We're actually quite at the far end of quarantine. The part where it is closer to Fullermon's Dip, so the other bit of it, the near end, is the part that is closer to camp. But we're on this far end. It seems like all of the antelope, or all the Impala that we usually see out here, have moved down to Fullermon's cut line. And you'll see a lot of that as the vegetation browns and becomes a little bit less tasty, less palatable. They'll start to move kind of in hordes to patches of better nutrition. Just had one monkey alarm call. That's usually not reliable because it's just one. It just went crap. But we'll wait and listen. Perhaps it's at this aeroplane that seems to be following us this last hour of drive, just going around and around and circling us. But as I was saying, we're going to find animals moving to resource-rich patches throughout Djuma and even otherwise around. Anyway, guys, it's that time where we say goodbye, and especially thank you so much for watching. And we'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now. No, this afternoon.